2023 is now out the window and we're into 2024, which means we're going to take a look at my top 5 games of 2023. Just to preface, I've not played every game. Games are expensive and they take up a lot of time, and I was not able to play every single game. So, if you're expecting to see Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, Super Mario Wonder, Alan Wake 2 on this list, you're probably going to be disappointed because I've either have played hardly any of them for them to be on my list, or I have not played them at all, so I apologize in advance for that. But I do want to talk about some games that maybe you've played, maybe you haven't played, but they're ones that I had either a lot of fun or just are great, well-rounded games altogether. But before we take a look at my top 5, I do want to shout out some honorable mentions. Hogwarts Legacy, Jedi Survivor, Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, Expanse the Telltale series, and Disney Illusion Island. These are 5 games that I wanted to put on my list, but I didn't play enough of them to really add them to my list. Actually, now think about it. I either wanted to put these on my list, but I either didn't play them very much for them to go on my list, or the other games on my list just really stuck with me a little bit more. So, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at my top 5 games of 2023.
5.
Starting with number 5, Lies of P. So, this one would have been higher on my list, but the thing is, I didn't play much of the game, to be honest, to go higher. Had I played more, it probably would reach up a little bit higher. It's more so my fault that it's low on this list, but I wanted to add it because the artwork of this game, the sheer concept of the game, the gameplay, despite my frustration with From Software type games, it's one that I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't put it on there. I have spent some time with this game, and I do love I love the idea of this game and some of the lore and the atmosphere that this game has, and especially, like I said before, the art direction. It's purely beautiful, and I love this steampunk sort of look to the game. It looks great, and it feels great, and though I really loathe myself when I play From Software type games because of just how sheerly frustrated and impatient I get, I had to put this on my list. So, had I played more and really stuck with it, it would have been higher on my list, but nonetheless, Lies of P is my number 5.
4.
Number 4 on my list is RoboCop Rogue City. I mean, this game shouldn't be on here, but the sheer fact it is a surprise alone. It is not a perfect game, by far. Definitely not a perfect game, I will preface by saying that. But by golly, was this game fun. As a longtime RoboCop fan myself, I thought I was gonna think it's garbage, but this game is surprisingly fun, and it pays so much homage to the first 2 movies. It treats the IP with respect, actually builds on more to the RoboCop trilogy, and it's one that, from a fan, it really checked off a lot of boxes, and is one that I have played. I'm going through my second game run through right now, just because sheerly of how fun this game is, and how it treats RoboCop as a character and builds more in this universe. It's a great surprise, and I couldn't skip out on putting it on my list just because how sheerly surprisingly good this game is.
3.
3 has to be SpiderMan 2. This is the game I was waiting for this year. Loved the first 2. Miles Morales and Marvel's Spider-Man are phenomenally perfect superhero games. Probably some of the best, if not the best, in the superhero genre. And the fact that they were introducing Kraven and Venom, how can you not? And this game lives up to it. Story-wise, not quite as good as the other two. I will say it does get a little cheesy, and by the end reminds me a little bit too much of Web of Shadows, but it's a great game. The gameplay is even more perfected than the first two, and is one I could not pass on this list.
2.
My number 2 is going to be a bit of a controversial one, but I'm putting on here because I surprisingly put a lot of hours in this game, and I'm still not done with this game just because of how many modes. I've not finished the campaign, all the customization you can do in this game. Honestly, guys, that's WWE 2K23. And I'm not lying to you. This game, I've spent countless hours playing, stayed up late playing, just because surely how fun it is. I was not expecting myself to get hooked on a wrestling game, or let alone a sports game, for this year. But for some strange reason, this game, I can't almost put down. It's like my new Tetris or Tony Hawk or Rock Band. I think 2K23 is going to go in that list of games that I can throw on and play for hours on end, just because of sheerly how fun it is, bumping up the difficulty, all the different play styles and modes and things you can do in the game. I don't know why, but this game was just super fun to play, and if I didn't put it on my list, it'd be a crime, just purely because of how much I've had a blast playing this game, and I'm not tired of it. I want to play more. Before we take a look at my number 1, I do want to shout out a dishonorable mention. So, no, I did not take a look at the King Kong game that came out, or the Walking Dead game, because I do respect myself a little bit. But there is a game I did play that I've actually was looking forward to playing, and after playing another game and jumping into this one, it was really disappointing. And that's AEW Fight Forever. After playing so much 2K23, which honestly, I wanted to play AEW when I saw it, because it looked like a blast. Then I got 2K23 and really had fun with the controls and everything in it. That when I got AEW, it was kind of a clunky mess, and I couldn't get myself really tied around the controls. Had I played more of it, I might have figured it out, but the customization option is very limited. It also is behind some of the payroll. It's grindy when it comes to unlocking some materials. Some of the mini games are just okay. It's not a horrible game, but it definitely feels like a dated game. After playing 2K23 and actually really enjoying some of the complex controls, actually some of the streamlined yet complex controls of 2K23, AEW just kind of feels like a product of the old era. And to some, you might love that, but to me, after really getting used to 2K, jumping into AEW, I found it honestly kind of disappointing.
1.
Okay, time for my number 1 game of 2023. What could that possibly be? Well, earlier last year, at the very beginning, we had a game that, though I didn't finish, it had always stuck with me, and whenever I jumped back into it, I was sucked in. And that game was the Dead Space remake. Did you guys forget about this one? Because I didn't. This game is a masterclass of art design, of atmosphere, and though some might be saying it's cheating to put this on this list because it's a remake, I disagree. The Dead Space remake, even though it's a retelling of the first game on the 360, just shows that even though it's a remake, it can stand out amongst the rest of the games that come out. And we had a year of remakes, one including Resident Evil 4, which I have yet to finish either. Between the two, I always found myself going back to Dead Space. Well, Resident Evil 4 is better in terms of remakes, in terms of the fact that it actually updates the controls and really fleshes out the story more. The Dead Space remake does the exact same, and for some reason, just the atmosphere and the tone and the art direction and the gameplay, it just, in my personal opinion, it was one that I couldn't stop thinking when I got done playing, whenever I stopped playing, and one that I always wanted to go back into and wanted to play more of, and actually is pretty frightening from time to time. This game I wasn't anticipating loving as much as I did, and it actually, as somebody who is not even a horror game person, I grew to really love this game. So, if you guys have not played the Dead Space remake, please play the Dead Space remake, because it's an absolute gem of a game, and I would still honestly say it's a perfectly crafted horror game. Alright guys, that's my top 5 games of 2023 and some honorable mentions and dishonorable mentions. What are some games that I left out that should have been, or what are your top 5 or top 10 games of 2023? Please let me know in the comments below. I love to read them. If you got any suggestions of what to play, what to watch, videos you want to see me make in 2024, please also let me know in the comments below. If you like content like this and want to stay up to date, please make sure to like and subscribe. I thank you all so much for watching this video. I appreciate you all as always, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.